and doesn't have the strongest laning phase. So there's an opportunity for AL to really challenge. At the end of the day, I feel like these are both top tier AD carries right now in the current meta. So it's a bit more of an even trade-off, which is why I kind of respect V5 banning away the Swain and allowing this trade-off to happen, rather than if they ban the Zeri and then AL probably get Kalista and Swain in that scenario. It'll be interesting to see if V5 up for a jungler here or go for the Renata. Renata Zeri is a combo that you can definitely play. Denying that away from AL could make sense, because I feel like if you do go like here with the Lee Sin, which, you know, was fantastic for Karsa, I think AL for sure take the Renata here.
Or can't take it.
Oh,
Renata's been banned.
Completely
yeah,
banned.
it's all good. It's all good, man. But I think the Amumu works just in a very similar way. You won't have the same kind of synergies that you had with the likes of his passive, as you mentioned, giving you that 10% true damage alongside the Swain with his magic damage. You know, that big, massive Venn diagram of death that you end up kind of building for yourself. But it does do a lot of what went well for anyone's legend. And now they can't go for the Gangplank on third, so we will see them go for something slightly different. Going into the Lee Sin, the Viego wasn't really the pick they needed to be. Maybe the Xin Zhao could be something that can go toe-to-toe, though, with Karsa.
If they feel like they have the flexibility, they could definitely leave the priority later. They actually go for the Camille here. So I like it into the Zeri because you have that ultimate that can trap her in place. You can't outplay it. But very bold to pick it this early. And Dream's just going to take the Sylas in response. They can now ban answers to it. So we'll take that Akali that he obviously played into last game. AL, I think, will probably put bans. You know, this is the difficulty. There's definitely support bans you might want to put in here. There's also top laners that you might not want ZDZ to deal with in answer to this Camille. We'll see what they opt towards here.
See what the priority is going to be for anyone's legend. The Akali's already been banned on the second phase by V5. You got a couple of options here. Yep, the Kale going to be banned away. So again, just kind of giving ZDZ maybe some pressure, some priority in that top side. And honestly, Rich is a little bit of a flip sometimes. Sometimes he looks incredible. Sometimes he looks like he, you know, didn't quite connect to the game. It can very much be a bit of a flip for him. So getting him on something that has got a little bit more variance might be the way forward for anyone's legend. But right now, V5, there's plenty of mid lane things to ban away for Forge. I think the Rise is a good one as well to kind of stop that big kind of, you know, global ultimate or semi-global ultimate from coming into play. And for V5, you got to try and figure out how you want to kind of like round out this composition. You've got some pretty decent mid-jungle kind of synergy right there. And how you want to try and, you know, kind of bring it all together is going to be the key bit now.
Yeah, it's kind of painful that Galio is banned away, because obviously Galio Camille would be a fantastic combo. They go heavy on the top lane bans, so leaving support open for V5 to really take what they want in this situation. QiuQiu considering some options here. I think a lot of players would potentially even look towards enchanters in this situation, but I think he wants to go for a meta. Goes for the Braum. So good at like stopping the spear stacking. One of the reasons it's effective in Kalista is you can use your shield. It's like, let's say they start stacking Ren stacks on Photic. You can then shield to stop that and slow it down. Also, if the Amumu goes in, very hard for him to get out again, but not the most aggressive lane. For AL, looking towards that potential Viego once again. Also need to solidify their mid pick in this rotation. I think LeBlanc could work, definitely.
For sure. The Taliyah could be nice as well. Get a combination of that jungle and top lane synergy. But no, it could be Forge taking the Taliyah into the mid lane and kind of saying, look, the Weaver's Wall is grand for the Sylas, but it's not exactly a high impact ultimate for him to be able to steal to make an impact on the other lanes. So we'll see what the side of AL want to go with here. They go with the Viego. So yeah, it's going to be Taliyah in the mid lane for Forge.
Yeah, and, you know, there's a lot of dashes already on V5, so the Unraveled Earth has a ton of value in this situation. And, you know, as you said, not the best ultimate for Sylas to steal. It can obviously give him that roaming potential, but in fights, not really. But he does have already fantastic choice with, I mean, just the Amumu alone is pretty stellar. Now, for the Camille, V5, considering the option of the Gragas here, obviously, one of the things is that he can very easily keep his distance from Camille, can body slam her when she goes for the hook shot, can ult if she presses her ultimate to knock her out of it, so he's freed, but will obviously lose out in the side lane later in the game. I feel like both teams have strong win cons in this game. I do feel like AL are looking to get off the ground a bit sooner, and Karsa on this Lee Sin can definitely be someone who can dismiss that.
I mean, it was the MVP from Game 2. Lee Sin for Karsa is been proven time and time again to be an absolutely fantastic pick. And again, something you just have to try and remember, that it has to be in your wheelhouse as a jungler. No matter what the meta, no matter what's strong or what you think isn't strong, Lee Sin has to be available to you. So this will be the third game of this series, the fifth game of the day, and the final one of day 5 of week 4. We are flying through the season, but a unique opportunity here for AL to really stamp some authority and say, look, we're here to play. We're here to kind of contest some of the bigger teams and just to push them a little bit further up. A lot better saying you're 4-2 than you're 3-3.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention is the Amumu interaction with Zeri. So part of the reason we saw Amumu come out, you know, there's buffs next patch, so maybe people start playing it more. But also, picked in a Zeri, you know how Zeri's Q is split into all those little bits? Each one of them is affected by Amumu's E. So Amumu's E is a passive where like he has a flat damage reduction on auto attacks. So if you go Amumu, especially if you build Warden's Mail, which also has this effect, Zeri literally just does no damage to you early. Like, none. Like, you just cannot do anything because you're reducing flat damage from every single little auto attack that comes out. And so I feel like Chocho is just going to be able to play super aggressive in this lane without really being checked.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going to see a bit of aggression already coming out. No one spotted out just yet. ppgod going to walk away, actually, funny enough. Now we'll recognize that people are there. But Photic and Dream are in tow, so don't know if he saw absolutely everybody, but he definitely knows that there's at least 2 people walking into that blue side jungle.
And they want to play with that sort of aggressive invade potential from the Amumu. The fact that obviously you have the 2 bandage tosses. He also has that glacial augment this time for that AoE slow. They won't find anything, just kind of forcing V5 away, and Ritual spawn by getting a ward in the top side.
Just vision for vision right now, and we gotta talk about it. It's actually interesting as well. We should be, hopefully, touch wood, seeing Rookie come back into the lineup in the coming weeks for V5, but I am curious to see how this team kind of develops and sees where they kind of go from here right now, because Dream has shown just how well he can fit into this squad, how much he can do for them, but you can't really, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, when you have people like the likes of Knight and Rookie as such and Xiaohao, you're never really going to be able to replace them until they actually leave. So for V5, it's going to be about how do they transition back to using Rookie, and honestly, their playstyle might change as well. Again, V5 very good at just kind of using the Rookie champion Ocean as they did in spring to kind of to give them such good advantages.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see Rookie play on this patch. There's such a variety of mid laners that can be played. We've obviously seen like things like the Taliyah, the Swain, these new picks coming back into the mid lane. We've seen things like Sylas, we just saw the Karsa last game, but also like these control mages, the Corki, the Azir. Just such a massive range of what you can play, which is a prime meta for a Rookie.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially before we saw that engage go bot side where they traded a little bit of damage. I did want to say, actually, we actually see first strike for both Rich and ZDZ. So both top laners saying, I'm going to get the first hit. No, I'm going to get the first hit. As they look to try and make, as much of an advantage as possible. I will say, I think Rich probably has a little bit of an advantage in that regard because, yeah, he's got the barrels and he's got the belly bob.
Yeah, I probably would have gone for Grasp in this lane to stack up. But one thing to mention is that, like, ZDZ eventually is going to be doing, like, those ridiculous true damage bursts. So if you can find your way, like, because the thing is, a lot of people think, oh, first strike, extra gold, wow, that's so cool early. But you tend to get more value out of it in the mid game where you're actually doing enough damage to like, get a massive amount out of the proc. And particularly ZDZ playing Camille, if you get, like, an empowered Q onto someone with the proc, you can just absolutely get so much gold.
And that's why you take the first strike, try to get that gold, get a little bit of extra harass as well. And Wave's not in a great spot for Rich. He's going to have to expend a little bit of extra mana to use those Qs to try and maybe clear it back just a little bit. You can see he preps it very nicely and says, look, I'm going to prop my W, make sure I do not take any extra harass that I need to. And Xiaohao just nicely skirting around vision here in this bot side.
Yeah, doing a good job of just avoiding being tracked. Both junglers on opposite sides, and we'll spot out Karsa here, so have information on him. I think he just wants to support forward so he can push that wave in. But I think seeing Karsa moving up towards the top side knows he doesn't really need to be there.
We'll probably see a bit of a slow game now. Both teams probably waiting to stack up to their level 6. I will say, the game has actually gotten to a point where level 6 comes very quickly for junglers and solo laners. It does feel like we end up with your full stack of kit very early on because of the way the experience and jungle changes have gone on. ZDZ having a bit of an unfortunate time there trying to last hit. But again, this is kind of a big moment here for anyone's legend. I think for V5, Couple of shaky moments definitely gave over a lot of comfort to the side of Anyone's Legend with the gangplank and the Swain. Weren't going to allow that to happen again. And honestly, I think this is a good opportunity here for AL to kind of prove they're not just a two-trick pony. They need to show that, yes, the gangplank and the Swain need to be banned, but we also can play X amount of different champions as well.
And I really want to see them find some momentum in this game off the back of this bot lane. I feel like as much as Braum kind of does mitigate some of the pressure, you should be able to look for windows in these skirmishes. The Kalista Amumu is so powerful. And I feel like Photic and ppgod just won't be able to match early. Kind of need a bit more time before this Zeri is relevant. And I think 6 as well is a point where Xiaohao on the Viego can be really powerful in the skirmishes. If you think about the way like skirmishes will play out, they have a lot of setup, they have a lot of CC, a lot of pick potential between Camille, Taliyah, Amumu, whichever of them is present. And then if Betty and Xiaohao can finish off kills, obviously Betty's good at executing them. Xiaohao gets the resets. Do you see Dream actually looking for a play? This is a 4-man. This could be really difficult to deal with for AL.
I mean, very difficult. Flash in. Betty gets caught up. He will not get the concussive blows just yet. It will just fade off now, so he's not going to get stunned off. A lot of flashes have been expended, and they will get their man. It took 3 flashes, but they end up getting first blood on V5.
Yeah, a lot invested, and they should be able to translate this into a dragon. Forge will be there to pick up the wave. They might look for a dive here.
This is risky.
Or Dream can steal the Amumu ult.
He can steal the Amumu ult if he so chooses, and that's exactly what he's going to do. There is the stolen curse of the sad money. They're going to try and maybe trade this one back. There's a good seismic sure, but Dream just end up getting traded back by QiuQiu. But Karsa ready with the double kill, and that's 3 kills to 1. You got to be careful though, Karsa. You're not really in a position to be able to try and fight this. He's waiting for ppgod to try and safeguard to him, but ppgod just walks away a little too early. So it ends up being a really big investment there, and they're going to try and turn this one into more for Anyone's Legend. They've got the cripple. Remember, Xiaohao has got the stolen Lee Sin, but he hasn't got access to the Heartbreaker, and that's going to stop any more of a chase. And Anyone's Legend at least answer back.
Yeah, a ton invested by V5, and overall don't accrue too much of an advantage because of the answers back. You can see here they're going heavily for Betty. QiuQiu does his best to block, but kind of knows that his AD carry is doomed and just thinks, I don't want to die too. The dive setup comes in, and, you know, with the fact that Dream is able to steal the Amumu ult, really puts him in a position to make this an easy dive. But good play from the 2 in AL. They get the seismic shove over the Unraveled Earth. QiuQiu flashes for the kill, and then as a result, Karsa has to overextend. But honestly, the main overextension was for that control ward.
Oh, we got stuck in the minions. Oh my god, he got stuck in the minions. Outplayed.
Real, he was dead regardless.
Yes,
I feel like even
but he definitely got stuck in the minions.
But it's, yeah, everyone's been through that. If you played League long enough, you always have that moment where you've been blocked by the minions, and it is very, very annoying.
I mean, they were AL's minions. They are technically on the blue team, so they were just helping out their teammates, you know? It's a team game, Aux. It's all about your synergy with your teammates.
All about getting your minions to help you out. Getting them to give you an
it's all about that RNG, you know? How do they interact? But just build a Phantom Dancer, you know? Come on, Karsa. Simple. Build a Phantom Dancer. Or B-Fizz.
Something I definitely do not want to see in my games. Phantom Dancer, Lee Sin.
No.
And V5 going for this blue invade. Not going to get checked on it. And they're ahead right now. 1,000 gold up in a pretty decent position. But I want to see more fights in this bot lane.
And that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get the double bandage toss onto ppgod, who's getting a lot of stacks in him. But QiuQiu needs to go back inside of Betty and get himself back out to safety. Both supports kind of being left to the wayside, but they should be able to kind of be an advantage to AL. I will say that Forge is coming in now. He doesn't know he's on vision, and he's going to be able to use the Weaver's Wall. ppgod not quite able to go anywhere right now, and he's not quite hit by the earth, but he will be taken down. That's Forge picking up a kill, gets rewarded for his roam, and this is nice from AL. They're not getting bullied like they were in game 1, but V5, not to be outdone, will pick up a Rift Herald. Yeah,
you actually saw Photic there going over the wall and be like, come with me, and ppgod's like, nah, my fate is sealed. Ends up going down, pick up kill for Forge. On the other side of the map, you see V5 get the Herald. So have the opportunity to make a play around that, but I don't think they'll be able to do it right now in the top lane. Actually, Xiaohao's just going to go over.
It's a 2v2. They don't have a TP available from Dream, so it's not going to be able to join this one. Karsa, though, gets jumped on and deleted. Dream was there. Excuse me, it wasn't even Dream. Dream was in the top side. Rich went boss, or excuse me, mid, so it ended up being a weird 2v2, but AL come out on top.
Yeah, and I mean, I love the Camille with the Viego. You lock down the Lee Sin, no ability to outplay, and then the Viego all connects to get the reset. V5, you don't win this.
You don't win this, but they don't know because they've got the Karsa stab money to come out. They get the explosive pass down, but Dream has already been taken. Rich can't go anywhere. He has to flash. No more ults available to the side of AL. Means that Dream should be able to keep himself alive, and that is good response here from AL. They read the play perfectly.
One thing I love is when you see Viego players pick up champions, and you can kind of get a read of how good they are on them, right? Xiaohao picks the Lee Sin, connects everything, really crisp on it. Yeah. Picks up the Sylas, misses everything, ults out, I'm done. No more. Unfortunately, that one didn't connect the stun on Rich. Might have been able to find a kill there. But either way, AL being proactive. And I just want to say, what a fantastic roam from QiuQiu. Read this time in on the extended play, figured that V5 would commit to it because he has the prior bot, he doesn't need to be there. But we could have really seen this just be a wasted time by QiuQiu. He could have just been here for nothing. But ZDZ and Xiaohao set up the trap. And as much as we know, V5 were not aware, the double ult comes in and just allows them to get this reset.
Yeah, and look, you can see how important it was as well. ZDZ probably doesn't survive in that situation. They might have even taken out Xiaohao as well. So you can see just how important that little roam was, that little decision. And they lost nothing because of it. Like you said, Betty had priority in bot. He's equal on CS. He's not going to be worried about that whatsoever. The only thing he doesn't have is access to the Amumu ultimate, but he's not going to care about that right now.
Yeah, and I'm just so hyped for some more team fighting to come out. I feel like AL, they've got a bit of a lead now. Game 1, they had that lead. They managed to bring it through. V5 kind of crushed them game 2, but this game is feeling close. The Amumu as well. I think QiuQiu going towards the Zhonya's. So this is actually an interaction I saw the other day is when Sylas tries to steal your ult from you, you can try and Zhonya's it so he doesn't pick up your ult. And actually you can just prevent him from being able to steal it away from you. Obviously just cost you your Zhonya's, cost like a whole item, but can make such a big difference when you have such an impactful ult that you know Sylas will want for every fight.
Well, like right now, V5 starting to hunt around this Dragon Pit. 25 seconds till that spawns. I do love how ZDZ and Xiaohao has said, look, you know, you can have my homework, just make it look like it's not too obvious that you copied boots instead of a door and shield. But between the two of them. But yeah, honestly, V5, they've got access to a lot of flashes right now. It would be very good for them, but there's a lot of teamfight power here between the 4 members of AL. You don't really want to be given too much over in terms of dragons, but I don't think you have much of a choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see an angle in this one, although speaking of that, Rich has made the movement down. DDZ just have teleport, so you will be able to match. You could then just get a 5v5 come out on this one. I don't see a way AL don't opt into this one. Although with Forge resetting, I guess they don't.
Yeah, they just don't feel comfortable, or rather they don't care whether or not they get it. They got the roam down from Rich. They now can push in that top side, so he'll lose a couple of minions on that. Maybe gain a plate for the Camille. So maybe they were trying to prioritize getting that Triforce, the Divine Sunderer as soon as possible. Maybe that's the play here. But at the end of it all, V5 kind of count their lucky stars. They got themselves a free Drake.
Yeah, and with the Herald mid, it won't be as good as the previous game where they got the full tower, but we'll be able to get some damage onto this tier 1, set up for a potential takedown with the second Herald, and a decent amount of gold coming in for Dream.
All right, Dragon a piece. About a 600 or so gold lead. It's going to go up a little bit now with these minions getting taken out by ZDZ, but there's nothing really too untoward about it. Rich thinking about going in. He's got himself a bit of AP now available to him. He looks like he's going towards that Night Harvester build, so he is going to be very, very powerful. In a minute 30 till the Rift Herald spawns, that could be the place where we see this game really start to crack open.
Yeah, and something to note is that when I've seen the Amumu into Zeri, I've seen Emax come out for to reduce the auto damage more. QiuQiu's actually gone for the Qmax. Hasn't built Warden's Mail, so he's not going to be like massively reducing Photic's damage, but I feel like he's just playing it because he wants the engage potential. Obviously, getting the reduced cooldown on Q will the reduced recharge has a lot of value in those extended fights.
I like to see that where everything ends up kind of going right now, because it just feels like both teams happy to just ping pong the waves. You actually have a Crown of the Shattered Queen being picked up here by Taliyah, but QiuQiu might be looking for an engage in this bot side. He will land, and they have got the Taliyah ultimate coming on the top of this as well. There's the Karsa Sad Mummy. It's going to force the cleanse from Photic, who's already got himself pushed back all the way into the side of this one. Photic trying to run away, but he's just going to be able to kind of kite this one out. Look at him doing so much there as Betty finally falls. The Heartbreaker not going to land on the Rich, which means that Xiaohao's in a terrible position. QiuQiu can't re-engage. Anyone's Legend went too far forward, and now they're getting punished. That's 5 kills. It's an ace. What just happened?
Wow, I mean, Xiaohao goes so deep for Rich, and then it's like the worst case scenario for Viego, where you overcommit for a kill, you don't connect, and you're left in no man's land with no resets available. AL, you just needed to take the kills in front of you. They end up overcommitting, going too deep, and V5 are there for the cleanup.
Massive move there by V5 and AL. It was all going so well. They had the pace, they had the advantages. And now you can see it here. It looks so good, but they just take too long to try and take down Photic, and they don't even take him in the end.
I mean, they should have just gone for ppgod. There's no reason to go for Photic here. Photic has cleanse. You know you're just being the cleanse. You've been way too much trying to go greedy for both kills. Betty tries to get this kill on the back end and then goes down. And then Xiaohao thinks he can kill Rich, but doesn't connect with the ult, doesn't get the reset. He now goes down. And at that point, AL have nothing left in the tank. ZDZ tries, but in the mix of 3 with the Gragas there to play interrupt, nothing you can do.
CDZ did unfortunately get an auto attack off onto Karsa rather than Photic, and that was the difference maker. That's what kept Photic alive. And look, I still think he dies regardless, but it is very much an unfortunate situation. Night Harvester finished up here for Rich. Dragon up in a minute 40. Looks like the tower is just going to be the protocol here. They're going to trade it for topside tower. So it is all of a sudden, which was about 1,000, maybe even a little less of a gold lead for AL, swung massively in favor of V5. 3,000 gold. It will be equaled up a little bit, but equaled right back down as the Rift Herald and top tower will go down.
Yeah, but V5 slamming as well. The Herald in mid. I mean, they're getting so much at the back of this. 3,500 gold. I feel like on the turn of a hat, V5 have really gotten to control of this game. Over the looking.
Here we go. Glacial Fissure won't land onto anybody, and they did get Photic's ultimate out of him as well. So they are burning quite a few summoners here, excuse me, cooldowns just before this dragon in a minute's time, and that might turn around to burn V5, but the power you now have as V5 to be able to kind of push in any lane, you've got the priority with no tier 1s left. Very difficult for AL to actually push out.
And this is probably the saddest moment, is when V5 have the Sylas for Dream, where he's level 11. He's got 2 points in his ultimate, so when he steals the Amumu ultimate, not only does he have all that extra AP, because he's now built a decent amount, but also the fact that he has the higher level ultimate, it's going to be so devastating if Dream can connect it onto multiple targets. And there's so much AoE potential from V5, right? Between the Dragon's Rage, the Cask from Rich, the Amumu ultimate available to Dream. Really can be painful if AL end up in a compromising position. And at this point, I think maybe they just pass on the Dragon. I don't think there's a necessary reason you need to risk it. You already have that one from before. And I think you just need a bit more time at this point. Let your Camille become a bit stronger. Let your Kalista finish off a second item.
Yeah, it's a bit harder. 008 onto Photic. He has been the assist king because, honestly, AL have thrown absolutely everything on him. Dragon will be started. QiuQiu is in the area. Xiaohao looking to try and maybe contest this one here. They're not willing to let this one go just yet. They are going to get the Amumu over the wall. QiuQiu not quite expected to go straight in. On top of this, he goes into his Zhonya state to try and buy a little bit of time and then straight into the Kalista, but he's already lost a hell of a lot of his engage. Gonna have to wait to see now where they want to go for. 2,000 on the Dragon. It's gonna try and be burst out. There we go. They're gonna go in. That's gonna be secured by the Gragas as they go in with the Curse of Sad Money as immediately the Amumu is taken out. ZDZ trying to jump onto Karsa, but he just can't get the damage down. Eventually, he falls after taking down the Lee Sin, but I think AL, you didn't have to fight this, and now you're gonna pay for it. Photic's feeling good, and Photic's gonna pick up another kill. Never mind, Dream will take it right at the end, and V5 in total control.
Once again, an ace for one, and AL, they don't find the engage, and they go for a Dragon they didn't need to fight. Fight before, they could have just gotten ppgod and taken him, gotten away with it. This fight, they could have just given up the Dragon, but no. AL insist on fighting, and V5 remind them why they shouldn't, and now V5, 7,000 gold lead. It feels so hard for AL to come back into this.
Yeah, it really, really does, and this is just getting harder and harder. And again, AL, QiuQiu gonna look for something, but he doesn't land the first bandage toss, and don't think he's gonna be landing the second. Never mind, he flashes and commits to it fully. He's gonna try and put himself in front of Rich, but The explosive cast will miss. They're trying to just take down this Gragas, but they invest so much and get so little from it.
You know what this feels like? This feels like desperation. Ultimately, you kind of feel like they're at this point where they're trying to make it happen. We see the replay of the fight, so QiuQiu gets knocked in, ends up having to be ulted out again. This point, like, surely ALs would just go, no, we're not fighting this. And yet they go for it anyway. QiuQiu goes in, gets an ult onto the frontliners, not really that much of a concern. And then we see Dream. Look at him running towards the backline here. All of AL's backline just have to run away because of the threat of the Sylas with the Amumu ult. Dream able to get Forge taken down, and in the meantime, V5 have cleared up the front line. Betty doesn't even get to escape on the back end.
Yeah, feels like desperation plays coming out from anyone's legend. V5 proving time and time again why they are undefeated in series, why they are so feared and revered in this league, and why we highly put them at so many tops of the list to say, look, these are the guys who need to be beaten. These even ahead of people like JDG. Yes, JDG are still 6-0, but the matchup between V5 and JDZ is going to be absolutely huge. ZDZ cannot deal with Rich now, and he's getting 1v1'd in the 4v4. We're going to see a full engagement. Look at Forge. He's just trying to fully go on top of Photic, and he will get one kill off on him. That's going to be a 3v4 now as they're trying to trade this one back. You're going to get Heartbreakers. Reset, 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 and that's what you want to be seeing as AL. They found an opportunity where the Gragas wasn't here, and a triple kill goes to Betty.
They managed to pull it off. I didn't get to see the start of the fight. I'm assuming QiuQiu must have got a massive ult there, but they find the fight. No Rich there to provide the disengage, and Xiaohao gets the reset with Betty confirming the kills. Baron now going to be secured by AL, and I was thinking it looked doomed. AL, as I said earlier today, never a team to roll over and die.
Absolutely not. They will get Baron buff onto absolutely everybody. But let's have a look at the replay here, because again, I think you're right. QiuQiu must have just got over the wall and found the ideal target, which is Photic.
Yeah, big ult here. Cleanse does get used, but the follow-up comes in from the rest of the team. The knockback from Forge is massive. Betty goes down, and then this fight seems so messy, but this is where picks like a Kalista, picks like a Viego thrive. The resets come out, Betty gets to reposition and heal up. And AL, not only do they get the kills, they get the Baron as well. It was a 7k gold lead, and now it's only 3,000 in favor of V5, managing to pull it back and keep this game competitive.
This game is not over yet, and that was big money going over to the side of AL. Like you mentioned, they're kind of shoring up those differences. They're only about half an item down. They're still down. It's still V5's game to lose, but this is a great opportunity now for AL. They'll have side lane pressure. They'll have security for Forge now, who as he picks up his Zhonya's, and he needs a little bit more damage, but he's getting there.
And this is what I really want to see from AL, is picking off those pivotal targets. You have so many great tools to do so. The AoE engage of QiuQiu, the ZDZ ultimate to lock down someone like Photic, and then you get the reset for Xiaohao to find the momentum. Now, team setting up for this dragon, 40 seconds to go, would be third for V5 and put them on soul point. You can see Photic in a position to posture and get some poke down, but AL are going to force in.
Forge walking forward as the man with the Zhonya's and the crown of the Shattered Queen. He feels the most confident to be able to chase check just
oh, there it is. That's the interaction.
That's it. That's the interaction you were talking about. And look at Dream's ultimate. It's going to take a little while for that to come back up, but wasn't quite at the setup. Xiaohao going to be forced to use the Heartbreaker as the explosive class was coming out. Now QiuQiu caught between a Barrel and a Everfrost right now. He goes in, he flashes the 4-man ultimate as they try and get on top of Photic, who's been caught by ZDZ. There's 2 kills. Anyone's legend. They've done it. They found the opportunity. And this is 23 minutes in the game. They have a minute in the Baron. They can end.
Yeah, Baron as well. It's only Karsa. They might just be able to pursue an end. It's a lot of towers to get through, but they have 5 members up. Karsa has to try and come in with a miracle on this one. 20 seconds just for ppgod. We'll see if they try and push all the way or they try and back off and play it safe.
Yes, low health bars. Karsa's got access to his kick. He's going to use it straight away. Goes into Zhonya's. They're tanking up the turret, but the turret's being taken out. He flashes, but he's dead. It's an ace. CDZ will fall. I don't think without him they can do this. They'll take an inhibitor. You can already see the careful pings coming out. They're going to let Betty take away this inhibitor, and it's going to be a little close. Yeah, he's going to opt away from going towards the Hex Gates, but
look at the TP. Look at the TP coming in from Dream.
Oh, they're looking for it. I think they gave up this dragon. They don't need to fight for it anymore. They can just reset, take the fact that they've cracked open the base, and then out of 7,000 gold down, they're now 2,000 gold up.
They might be able to make it back in time. They have Hex Gates. Karsa's not up for 10.
Don't think so.
No, looks like they're just saying they're accepting they haven't got it. again, Dragon of V5, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world. The fight is the big thing. The lead for AL. Karsa, credit to him, did at least stall them so they couldn't end the game. But we can get a replay off this one. And as I said, right, the interaction comes in already to stop the steal off the ultimate from QiuQiu. So the fact they don't have the Curse of the Sad Mummy for Dream makes a big difference. And now Engage comes in. Flash ult connects onto 3 pivotal targets. Instantly, we get the follow-up coming in. ZDZ is like, Photic, you are mine. And Forge is there to follow up. And it's just so quickly done. Karsa isn't even involved. He doesn't get a moment to be in this fight.
I mean, Karsa was doing what you would expect any Lee Sin to do. He was looking for a flank. He was looking for a kick to try and maybe catch out the Kalista. But then QiuQiu, man on your screen right now, the real MVP of that fight, and the Zhonya's. What a beast! This Zhonya's
I love as well. Yeah, the fact that you like this is the thing. You pick Sylas into Amumu. It's the best ult that you want to steal for the enemy team.
Closer.
And he's just ready to Zhonya's and deny it. So
yeah,
just ensures that QiuQiu's like, I am going to have the best Curse the Sad Mummies, not you, Dream.
I mean, this is so... And honestly, just the target selection, the fact that Rich had already used his explosive cast, when he's stunned, Rich doesn't do anything in that fight after that. Rich literally stands there perma-stunned and dies. He had flash, he had ways of kind of maybe impacting the fight with a belly bot, but it's just not going to happen. So, really well played. I
will say, Taliyah is really showing up for this game. When everyone on V5 has dashes, particularly short cooldown ones, and the fact that like the Unraveled Earth is so big now since the rework. If you could put that across a fight, like if we get the ultimate from Amumu and then you put the Unraveled Earth down on top of it, like what can V5 do? You can't dash out of it again, and it just makes it so painful. And something I want to bear in mind, Dream has a Medgize, by the way. It wasn't always at 0 stacks. Actually, it was at 10. So losing even more value on the back of that because of that purchase. Now, Photic is that big point where we talk about with the Zeri. The fact is there's 3 items. The crits coming out from the W will really start to sting with the Infinity Edge. But that's if he gets space to function in these fights.
All right, let's take a breather. 50 seconds until Baron spawns. We don't imagine AL will be looking for it, but they may be looking for Rich, because right now Rich is playing a very dangerous game and does not have vision. He will know that QiuQiu's in the area, and you can see already he's trying to back himself away. As I have a look at some of the key things that are going to be available now in the next fight, everyone should have summoners up for them. That should be without saying. I think Rich will have enough money before this next dragon to get himself a Zhonya's, and even then a stopwatch available for ZDZ and a GA for Betty. A lot of big cooldowns, a lot of ways of delaying the fight available to both sides.
Yeah, and let's talk a bit from V5's perspective what they need to do. I think ultimately, step 1 is don't get hit by a big Amumu ult. But also, Dream, he should try and ult someone near QiuQiu. Because QiuQiu is going to Zhonya's it every time. Let's say, I don't know, Betty is standing next to QiuQiu. You ult Betty, QiuQiu sees it coming. He thinks it's on him, he'll just Zhonya's. But you still get an ult to use that has that value. Alternatively, you can try and ult him a little bit before the fight, so hopefully the cooldown time's off. And then when it comes to the fight itself, they kind of need to play peel for Photic. Photic keeps getting isolated and just shut down by this Camille. If Photic can survive in the extended fight, it can make all the difference.
Minute 40.
Okay, he got it there.
He got it there. Because I feel like if QiuQiu goes into Zhonya's right there, he probably dies. So
yeah, Cat's coming in afterwards. He's like, denying the ult or being alive?
Yeah, you know what?
Being alive.
Being alive is probably worth more. We will see Photic just clearing wards and vision around this Baron. The blue buff has been started here. It's going to be stolen over by Forge. So he
actually, I mean, I say that they could have just Kalista ulted him out. So, you know, maybe he could have just unused. But either way, it doesn't do it. So Dream now has the ultimate. That's a big power spike for the Sylas if he can make use of this. So they want to try and have a fight happen. They are posturing towards Baron. But that's obviously a risk you want to go for up against the comp of AL.
I mean, they have to force this. Remember, Dream has the ultimate, but it's on a timer. It's not a guarantee. Good little ward there to say, look, they're not on the Baron. We don't have to panic. AL just taking their moment, saying, look, we don't need to overforce this. And they're happy with ZDZ forcing in this bot side. He can continue to be a split lane threat. He's got himself a GA. He should be fine.
Yeah, it's really... I mean, Gragas has a wave clear, and it's hard to dive Gragas with his Zhonya's, and, like, the fact is there's low cooldown body slam. But the fact you have to keep sending him down there to answer does make it a bit painful.
Okay, 30 seconds. I want to make a quick note. Photic picked up a stopwatch. Yeah, it's gone now. So he can't take that for another 2 minutes. So
yeah.
It's... you don't have the Amumu ult. That was very well played here by AL. You can see a reset coming in. We will have... The Anathema's Chains coming out for QiuQiu is going to be a little bit tankier as well. TP coming in. There's 10 seconds till the dragon spawns.
But, you know.
True, but TP's coming in. And everyone's set up. Full summoners available. Here we go. They're going to win. Oh, Cho! He gets on top of 4, but can they make anything work this on AL? We will see Rich going into Zhonya's to try and delay this fight. DDT can't get the stun down. Look at Photic on the backside of this fight. Just free hitting with those Qs. No one's gone down just yet because of all the GAs and the Zhonya's, but look at Photic. He's just tearing through these health bars, and Photic was able to survive. Photic with the quadra kill, and V5 get everything.
And AL are just unable to get on him. I said this is what needs to happen, is Photic needs to be free hitting. AL disrespect him. ZDZ burns the ult on the Gragas. Chocho got a huge engage, but the follow-up wasn't there. And when the Zeri free hits, the Zeri will take over. Photic, at the end of a close match, a close series to AL, will do enough to push them over the finish line.
As much as Photic got the kills, that was Karsa keeping the game alive, protecting Photic in so many ways. The funny thing is Photic still had his Zhonya's all the way in the back pocket, but it wasn't needed. The game has been secured. V5 continue their undefeated series streak.
And Matt, that was a battle. I feel like this is the hardest V5 have been tested so far this player. Like, I feel like this is even more, like, more pressure than even other RNG game, arguably. AL, I can only commend them for putting up such a fight. Unfortunately, didn't manage to finish it out, but definitely proving that, you know, considering their finish in the lower end of the table in the spring split, definitely looking like a contender to get to playoffs this split. But V5 still undefeated in series, despite everything, despite the fight they had to go through, despite the fact that they nearly ended up losing that game, still maintaining form to the end.
I mean, obviously, congratulations to V5. They continue to go to 6-0. They are looking fantastic. But AL, truly hats off to them, because it was a close series. Like you mentioned, probably the closest that V5 have had all split. And that's the big thing that we got to talk about, is that this wasn't just a roll-up. People might look at the result and say, oh, V5 had one bad game. It's like, honestly, that last game could have gone either way. And I feel like Karsa really is playing some of the best League of Legends we've seen him play in years.
I mean, Karsa was really solid. I think that game 2, instrumental in getting the lead and closing it out. Great decision making to stall out the game, because I don't know, it's hard to say if he just died there and not been able to clear the waves, been able to Zhonya's and buy time.
Game's over.
Maybe it would have been an end. The timers were close, but at the end of the day, V5 managed to secure it. And I think AL just mismanaged the final team fight. They just needed to get on Photic. I think if Photic dies, they just win. I feel like that it's that simple. The Zeri's so strong in those late game team fights. But unfortunately, just the target selection wasn't there. Wasn't as able to pick it up as easily as in those other ones. But credit to AL for making it so close and bringing such a banger for series. I mean, a lot of people will probably look at this day, and despite the fact AL had a pretty good scoreline with 3-2 coming into today, they look at V5 against AL, they're like, well, that's not going to be that interesting. And this was a really fun series. Really great series on both sides.
It really was. And honestly, I think, again, look at that's an LPL gold graph. That is what I want to be seeing on a regular. None of this slow, gradual move ups or move downs. I want to see the roller coaster that we all know and love.
That just says it all. And, you know, I even kind of said it. We have so many series in the LPL where one team crushes, then the other team crushes, and then game 3 is a close battle where they're both trying to vie to get the series win. And this absolutely delivered on that. Photic was absolutely humongous on the Zeri, and when he was able to function, when he wasn't shut down, was able to make it work, but still pretty significant effort from both sides in that one.
Yeah, and look, you know, I think Photic on the Zeri proved why the Zeri is so powerful. Look at how much they threw at Photic, even in all of these fights. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and it did feel like with a full set of summoners, a full backup of his team, it's such a slippery champion to try and get on top of. And when you have these crit builds, when you have got the IE, the Immortal Shield Bow, and of course the Phantom Dancer, it's just so much. Now, the longer the fight goes before she's dead, the worse it becomes for you and your team.
And I think ultimately, I feel like AL just need to be a bit more patient and let ZDZ get in a flank position, because that's what worked in the fight before they won, is that ZDZ found a flank and then Forge was there to follow up, and they just were able to take out Photic. And honestly, I'm gonna say there's this like team fight in spring that I love that kind of made me just fall for AL, the way they approach team fights. ZDZ and Forge are so good as a duo working together.